Yeah, BYU had a dunk and they moved the basket off its hinges.
Hey, well, I mean, never mind. I'm not going to make that joke. That's just low-hanging fruit.
So the crew had to come out and re-straighten the hoop.
Ah. All right, good.
Yes, sir.
3, 2. Hello, D-Gens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes. I, of course, am the Brofix one, AJ. Joining me, as always, man with the number, sportsbook whisperer, college basketball guru, daddy of the diamond. All hail the king of the links, the money train, Noah. How are you doing today, bud? No? Oh, we going to start off with technical difficulties? You back?
Good. Sorry, I was a little confused. You were like talking in. Bro, I feel like they're on your end again.
Give me a sec. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
You're
Can you hear me?
finally connected.
I'm telling you, I think it's on your end.
I don't know. I'm
again.
reading full bars here.
I mean, I know it was a first. I know it was a first last time it happened, but after the Cox man came out and dug up a whole trench outside to relay our line.
Hey, I'm reading full bars out here. But anyway, we can play the blame game all we want, Noah.
Anyways, yeah, I'm doing fantastic, man, because
U
of A, number one.
Number
one. One of like 5 teams who's ranked in football and basketball now. Always a good feeling when you're competitive in the 2 major sports, and with U of A, you just go down the list, just with everything else competitive.
Oh yeah.
So
U of A just absolutely killing it in everything, and little brother is currently treading water in the football department. We'll see what happens in the transfer portal with them. Shout out! Everything just seems to be right in the world, Noah.
You mean losing every player that's worth a damn? Apparently keeping their coach, but
they lost all. Yeah, they've lost all 4 of them, and we're gonna see if Ken Dillingham can go out there, recruit, and get the boys back to moving. But I hope they don't. I really hope they don't. Fuck ASU. Anyway, before we go any further, do just want to take a moment, shout out to everyone here on Rumble, over on YouTube and X. Y'all are the best. If you like what we're cooking, please hit those like buttons, hit the follow buttons. Does help us out a lot more than you know. But I guess here's my thing. Here's where I want to start, Noah. Do you think they got it right? All said and done, the field is set. We have our college football playoff brackets. I guess before we get into the matchups, before we get into, kind of why they did what they did, just yes, no, do you think they got it right?
No. No. I mean, I would have drawn it up differently. I understand a lot of the decisions that they did make.
Yeah.
Like there's no real like major head scratcher. I'll say no. I don't agree that they got it right. Does this look exactly how I expected it to after the conference championship games happened? Pretty much, yeah, to a T. I could have just about predicted all of the seeding, other than I probably would have had Miami at 9, Alabama 10 if I had to guess. But everything else fell exactly how I expected it to. I know a lot of people were expecting Georgia at 2, but with how close the Big Ten championship game was, after I watched that game, I said, okay, yeah, Ohio State's still going to be number 2. And so I was not shocked at all. Do I agree with it? No, but I knew going into Selection Sunday and watching that show before the NFL game started, I knew I wasn't going to agree with it because I had a good feeling Notre Dame was going to get left out. I've got Notre Dame as my number 5 team in the country right now.
Yeah.
And I have had Notre Dame a number of spots above where the AP and College Football Playoff Committee have for weeks. Eye test wise, and I texted you before conference championship games even were like fully underway. I think it was like Friday night or Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's going to be so disgraceful that Notre Dame's going to get left out. And I knew they were. It's a product of not playing in their I could go on a whole tangent about that. I won't. But long story short, I really think this is. I don't know who all the major players are necessarily. I mean, obviously, I know some of them, but I think we're trying to strong arm Notre Dame into joining a power conference, and that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And you can go all you want about head to head, yada yada. Notre Dame like if you compare all the 2-loss teams, Notre Dame has and they love to talk about quality losses.
Quality losses.
Notre Dame has the 2 best losses out of
absolutely
outside of BYU. BYU losing twice to
yes.
Texas Tech, I think, is the only one of the 2-loss teams that can say, "Oh, our losses are better than Notre Dame's."
Yeah,
but maybe not even so, because Notre Dame lost by a total of 4 points to A&M and Miami, who are both in the playoff, and BYU got blown out twice by Texas Tech. So I would entertain an argument that Notre Dame, I know they didn't play a super tough schedule. I mean, a lot of Power 4 teams in there. They just happen to be a lot of ACC teams, and the ACC is trash. And I also think Miami getting in was to save a little face for the ACC.
And that's the only reason Miami's in, because I think this is any other year, Miami's not in, but they have that win over Notre Dame, and whatever, the politics happen from behind the scenes. But, it coming out now that, and Notre Dame looking to get out of maybe their relationship with the ACC and start working with a Big 12, Big 10 or something like that. I think Big 12 is more than likely the solution there, but do you think the issue, though, Noah, is the fact that they're not in a conference, or the fact that the ACC is just ass? Well, because if the problem is conference championship games, then fine, I can get behind that. But if the problem is quality of wins, versus quality of losses, then I can see why going to a Big 12, where I would say the Big 12 is more deep than an ACC, clearly, that...
Oh, yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
Yet the Big 12 seems to be stuck in this being. I was pulling for BYU just so that the Big 12 would hopefully get 2 teams in. And you look at Utah. I mean, that could potentially, the way they've played this year, with a 3-point loss to BYU and then a loss at home where they did get blown out at home to Texas Tech. But that's kind of what Texas Tech has been doing, sans the Arizona. I feel like they've won by 10 plus every single game, except for somehow they went into Tempe and just shit the bed. But I look at that game as they shit the bed. That's not what Texas Tech is. Like, Texas Tech is a top 4 team in the country. I've had them in my top 5 for a number of weeks when, they've been barely inside of the top 10. The Big 12's in a tough position. I think it comes down to when TCU got in after going undefeated and then losing in the Big 12 championship, and then just getting absolutely embarrassed 63-3 by Georgia in the national championship game. I think that's why the committee and whoever, like, they have it in their mind that the Big 12 is just a 1-bid league. And last year, fully agreed with that. Like, the Big 12 did not deserve 2 teams in last year. BYU this year, I think they got shafted. But every single rankings that came out, they were on the outside looking in, and they never had an opportunity other than winning the Big 12 to get in, which I think that's a little disgraceful. The Notre Dame situation, I knew they were hosed, because when you had Notre Dame, BYU, Miami, it was like, oh, okay, there's separation. So Notre Dame's above Miami, and that head-to-head doesn't matter. But you're like, if BYU loses, then they're right next to each other, and then we knew they were going to draw that head-to-head.
Yeah.
And if BYU wins, that's an extra team that's in, and one less. Like Notre Dame's not jumping Texas Tech, and so they were pretty much, based on the penultimate ranking by the College Football Playoff Committee, they basically made a statement: Notre Dame's not getting in, no way in hell.
Yeah. Same thing with BYU, and this is only the second year that we're doing, these playoffs and everything like that. Because do I think anybody in their right minds thinks James Madison or Tulane, and not trying to throw, strays at anyone, but does anyone really think that those two teams are better than a BYU, better than a Utah, and can have more as competitive of games as we're going to see. Because I'll be honest with you, Noah, and the sports books are kind of looking at it the same way. I think Tulane Ole Miss will be a little bit closer than the books are expecting, maybe, but they're expecting blowouts across the first round when it comes to those group of 5 teams coming into the playoffs to, I hate to say it, but play the big boys, and playing the big boys on home turf.
But we also saw last year 3 Power 4 schools get absolutely blown out.
Yeah.
This year's interesting though too, right? Because there's so much being dug up about, we should expand to 16 teams, yada yada yada. I've always been against that. I've always said 6 or 8 is probably the best number, which is not a popular opinion, but I'd rather shrink it. Here's the crazy. Look at the damn bracket this year.
Oh, let's pull it up.
14 playoff. This could have been a 14 playoff this year because do you really think, and I know there's a lot of support for Oregon, but if you watched Oregon play this year, do you really think outside of Indiana, Ohio State, Georgia, and Texas Tech that any team really has a legitimate chance at winning the national championship? Yeah, maybe somebody pulls off a quarterfinal upset against one of those top 4. Like, I'm not going to rule that out. But do you really think any team 5 through 12 has a legitimate chance at winning the national championship? Because here's the thing, I don't. We're going to get some combination of Ohio State, Georgia, Texas Tech, and Indiana in the national championship. And all of the focus is on that, like, 9 through 13, 14 range.
Yeah.
People talking about Texas, Vandy, BYU, all this other stuff. This could have been a 14 playoff this year, and it wasn't the case last year. I mean, I picked Ohio State to win. And there were some other teams, obviously you had Notre Dame who was figuring to be competitive in that one, and some other teams that maybe could have made a run if things worked out a little bit differently. But this year I feel very, very strongly that the top 4 seeds, like, these are the 4 best teams, and these are the 4 teams that we're going to see when there's 4 teams left. And I really think that's the case. I just don't. And I've thought about this quite a bit, and I don't see it shaken out a different way unless one of these teams just has an uncharacteristic dud that they put up in game after the bye. And so everybody wants to talk about expand the playoff, expand the playoff. No, I'm saying cut it down. Cut it down to, a 6 team would work, an 8 team bracket would work as well.
12,
and 12 is too much, and that also solves the problem of people complaining about the auto bids for conference winners who, if you hate that James Madison and Tulane are in this, why are you also vouching for expansion, but you're like, keep them out, but let's just
keep them out,
farther so we have more power conference teams that aren't up to snuff? Because, like, you look at teams like Vandy, BYU, I do think Notre Dame would compete, and that's the sad part. That's the sad part is I do think Notre Dame is better than every team 5 through 12. I think I would, on a neutral field, I would take Notre Dame over every single team ranked 5 through 12 right now.
I get where you're coming from, and McCormick, what's up, brother? You get settled in. We'll be here, dog. I get where you're coming from, Noah, and I agree with you that expansion is the incorrect option. And I think people want expansion because they're chasing what March Madness is. And do I think that it needed to get expanded from a 4? I think you're correct. No, a 6 through 8, maybe some years you can argue a 10-team playoff, maybe some years.
But it's different every year. It's like last year. Last year you needed 8 or 10 or even 12 teams.
Yeah, I get it, but still.
Then you look at this year, and it's like, this could easily be 4. And when we end up with the top 4 seeds as the last 4 teams, and then people, I don't know if people are going to complain about it being chalky or no upsets or whatever, but like, that's probably what's going to happen because there is a big drop off between the top four teams
Exactly.
this year and the remainder of everybody else. Like,
exactly. And I'm never opposed to more football or anything like that. I'm excited to go into this college football playoff, but it just feels like everyone is chasing the excitement, the drama, and the unknown of March Madness, when at the end of the day, basketball and football are just two completely different sports. And it's going to be very damn hard to create a Cinderella run, because as of right now, Noah, we're looking at a Cinderella run of like Alabama or Oklahoma. And in what universe is that really a Cinderella in most years? This year might be a little different, but still, the Tulanes, the James Madisons, no one really gives a shot. Are they going to be able to cover those spreads? I think that's more of a conversation I'm willing to have than actually winning these games outright, but and then you talk about expansion. Who are the people talking about expansion? It's everyone who's butthurt that they didn't get into the playoffs this year. It's the SEC schools. It's some of these Big Ten schools, et cetera, et cetera. The number one person I hear ringing this horn is Paul Feinbaum. Like, bro, shut up. Like, the SEC was mid this year. Let's not, like, any other year you could probably toot that horn, but sure as hell not this year.
Yeah, I mean, outside of Georgia, it's like, who do you really trust to go win 3 games straight? Or 4 games straight if they don't have a first round bye. And I don't even really trust Georgia that much because they haven't looked all that great. I mean, fall back to just 2 weeks ago at the Georgia Tech game. Like, I don't think Georgia Tech's that good of a team, but they were in it with Georgia, and then Georgia goes and blows out Alabama, and it's just, the SEC here. The reality of it is the SEC wasn't that good this year.
Mm-mm.
And the Big Ten, very top heavy, but the Big Ten's not even outside of Indiana and Ohio State.
No.
Who cares? Oregon played nobody except for Indiana, and when they played Indiana, they lost by 10 at home. And you could say, they beat USC by, 14, 15 points, whatever it was. Like, okay, cool, whatever. Also at home. Oregon doesn't really impress me. That's why I got them all the way down at, I think, 7 in my rankings, but I don't know. Expansion to me, not the answer at all. And I know you said, it's, a lot of these teams were butthurt that their team didn't make it, and people are throwing out 16 or in a 24 team expansion. U of A's in that. I don't care. I don't want to see that.
No.
Yeah, we might win a first round game against like a USC or somebody because we'd probably draw somebody similarly ranked, a couple spots higher than us. But I don't care. Like we like, that's just a bowl game. Like that's a team that you're probably playing in a bowl game anyways. And then, so it's like, okay, what? Like we beat a USC or a Michigan or whoever the hell in the first round, and then we got to play Indiana. Like, I love what this Arizona team's been this year, but do we stand a chance at holding our ground against an Indiana, Ohio State, anything like that in the second round? No, fuck no. We're going to get blown out by 2, 3, 4 touchdowns. And that's how almost every single one of those second round games is going to go, other than the ones that are like end up being like an 8-9 matchup or like a 7-10 that you already have under the 12 team format. So I just cannot disagree more with the argument that we should expand the college football playoff, because I already think 12 is slightly too many.
Yeah. And
12 is fine. It's fun. You get to throw some teams in there that got in there because they won their conference. That's all fine and dandy. They're just, the sacrificial lamb, which is like, and they might win one game, right?
Maybe.
Like there's a real possibility, not a huge possibility, but there is a possibility that James Madison can go into Eugene and, a couple balls and calls go their way, and then they're in that game, they pull out a win, or Tulane does that in Oxford. Are they going to win 4 games straight against top 10 teams? Fuck no.
No.
They might grab a first round win. That is something that could feasibly happen. But is James Madison going to get a win in Eugene and then go beat Texas Tech? No, that's not happening. Is Tulane going to get a win over Ole Miss and then go beat Ohio State? Like, no, that's not happening either. Like, yeah, maybe they win one game, but you're talking about like less than 10-20% odds of that happening, and then playing a tougher opponent the next week. Like, yeah, there's no shot at the national championship there.
No, there's
some excitement that maybe they could knock off a superior team, but why does that matter? Why does that matter when we're talking about getting to the national championship? The playoffs should be just comprised of teams that can win a national championship. And that means I'm also cutting out Miami, Texas A&M, like Ole Miss without Lane Kiffin. That's not happening. Bama, Oklahoma, very, very slim chance, but I also don't think that's happening because whoever wins that game's got to go play Indiana.
Yeah, and I mean, we both know the answer to why the expansion is currently happening and why it will end up happening. Because I don't know about you, I do unfortunately see a 24-team playoff in our future. Money. It's at the end of the day, it's just more money games, and
more money
and more games, more money.
It's going to ruin the bowl season.
I think people would argue that bowl season is already ruined with how many teams are dropping out and everything like that. I disagree. I still think bowls are great and bowls are fun, but then the 2014 playoff brings in more of those bowl games. Then we get the Pop-Tart Bowl as a playoff game. Then we get the Holiday Bowl as a playoff game, et cetera, et cetera. And so the bowls will always still be around. It's just not going to be, the bowls that we know and love. And I think we'll still have the pageantry and, the unathletic people, chest passing footballs through a little hole. And that's fine. I mean, we'll still have the pageantry of college football, but money and greed, I mean, it's getting in the way of everything. And that's why we're having Utah sign agreements with private equity firms for a shit ton of money up front and everything like that. I mean,
yeah,
it's a wild world college sports is in right now.
Yeah. And that's, to touch back on the fact that, after TCU losing 60-3 in the national championship game, the Big 12 just being seen before the season even starts as a one bid conference. That's why Utah desperately, even though they just joined with Arizona, Colorado, and Arizona State, Utah wants to move to the Big Ten because they don't want to be stuck in what they would consider a one bid conference. And I think people need to start thinking about that differently. Big 12 obviously getting a lot of respect this year, basketball wise, early on, as they should have. Last year, I don't even know if last year was really that much of a down year, but all of a sudden, all the spotlight was on the SEC last year in basketball when it probably shouldn't have. And then obviously, Florida goes on, wins the national championship, and it's like, I told you so, even though over half the teams got eliminated in the first weekend. But no, Big 12 basketball dominance will be back. But 24 teams is just ridiculous. Because then if you look at the top 24 ranked teams, you start going down the list, it's like, no fucking chance, no fucking chance, no fucking chance, no fucking chance. Like, so I would say what's the point, but you touched on it. The point is more money, more revenue. It just doesn't make sense to me because you're just
you're diluting the product. And I think you're then turning it into the NBA. You're turning it into the NBA where, okay, well, that's fine. I can lose 3-4 games even depending on my conference, and I'm still going to get a bid for a playoff.
Yeah, you could finish 8-4 in the SEC.
Oh, auto. Like, not even a question about it. 8-4, you're in.
If we go to 24 teams, we're going to see 1 or 2 8-4 teams out of the SEC every year, which is like, do we want that? Especially if you get lucky scheduling in a given year. If you're Missouri and you're 8-4 and you haven't beat a single team with a record above 500.
Yeah.
Do you deserve to be in when you haven't beat a single team with a winning record the entire year? I mean, I'd argue no. Maybe I'm crazy, but
I'm kind of with you there. I'm with you there. Now, have you given any thought to, and this is a concept, an idea that's been thrown around a lot the last couple of years, but just redoing everything. Super conference. Oh, game on. Was good, brother. Merry Christmas to you too, dog. Super conference, where it's however many divisions with 10 teams in each and yada, yada, yada. And then it's just then it's all a de facto college football playoff. And then you have your actual playoff, and conference championships act as, the quarter, not the quarter. Yeah, the quarter, the first round. And then you get into the quarterfinals, semis, etc. I mean, I don't think that'll ever happen because I think there's so much, not only history, but so much money tied up into what these conferences are now, that trying to break any of that up would require many, many, many very, very expensive lawyers. And I just don't see that happening. Do I think that's probably the answer? Yeah, because then it's just a professional league at that point.
Yeah,
but
it's not ever going to happen. And part of the big issue here is you look at who basically owns a majority stake in the SEC and the ACC, and that's ESPN, and that's why Miami's in the playoff, and that's why there's fucking 5 SEC teams in there.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of ridiculous, but...
So then why don't we replace with the committee with the people who actually make the decisions? Because I think personally it would be a lot more entertaining to watch a bunch of TV executives get into a room and discuss college football playoff and that shit, because they're really who's making the decisions. And I think we all know that, and we've known that for a while. But then let's get rid of the facade, let's get rid of the puppets, and let's just put everything out in the open. I mean, we know, like, that's why, like, Notre Dame's not in, because they're only TV deals with NBC. And everyone told NBC to just shut the fuck up when it came to college football. And that's why Notre Dame's not in. And that might be a little tinfoil hat for, the whole thought process, but it just kind of feels that's how the way it is.
Or maybe what you do, expand it to 16 teams, each of the Power 4 conferences, top, 2 guaranteed bids.
Sure.
Because then you don't have to worry about being punished for playing in your conference championship game. You make it to your conference championship game, you're guaranteed in. If you do that, so that's 8 teams.
But then all that matters is getting to the conference championship game. Why would I play players in a game that doesn't matter if I'm already in the college football playoff? I'm going to let my second and third stringers go ahead and run around in the championship game.
No, it's absolutely seeding, because clearly Alabama didn't get punished for getting their asses whooped. BYU was stuck in a position where it was winning you're in, losing you're out. But, that way it depends on how you play in your conference, because then that throws out the whole, I'm just going to schedule cupcakes for our entire non-conference, right? Because if it's like, you make your conference championship game, you're guaranteed a spot. So then it's like, okay, we can schedule these super entertaining games early on in the season. It's not Texas saying, we should have just played Rice instead of Ohio State and we would have been in. Because then it's, it doesn't matter. You can go 0-3 in non-con.
But
if you win enough conference games and make your conference championship game, so if you go 0-3 in non-con, but then go 8-1 in conference play and you're in your conference championship game, then you're in. And it doesn't matter that you're at an 8-4 record and it's not being punished for playing tough teams, and you're still getting a path in. And to me, that's a better solution. And I know you do have to expand if you want to do that. And then you give maybe 1 or 2 auto bids to the highest or 2 highest conference championships or champions outside of the group of 4, which then keeps them happy, because it's like, okay, then there's a path to the playoff for those teams. And then at that point, then that leaves you with 6 at large to fill in. And
I like it.
And I really don't think there's a scenario where we need more than 4 or 6 at large teams, because let's look at every given year, teams that don't win their fucking conference championship game. Is there ever more than 1 to 3 that actually have a chance at competing?
No, not typically.
No. So why are we arguing to put in a 5th place or a 7th place SEC team in the case of Texas? You finished 7th in your fucking conference. Why?
Yeah, get out of here. Don't even talk to me.
Why do you deserve to be in? You lost to 4-8 fucking Florida. That's at the end of the day. Stop bitching and moaning about the Ohio State game. You lost to 4-8 Florida. If you beat 4-8 Florida, you'd be in the damn playoff.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. McCormick, I agree with you. They need a cap. They need to figure all that stuff out. And honestly, I wouldn't mind Yale Harvard. Wouldn't mind Yale Harvard, but they won't spend money on the football team, so I wouldn't worry about that. Last thing on the college football playoff, Noah, and then I'm good to move on. Do you think NIT would solve some of this? NIT tournament?
No, because I don't think teams are going to be like I feel like a team like Notre Dame might opt out of something like that, because it's just adding a losers tournament essentially. Which Arizona would be playing in that, and I, as an Arizona fan, would be happy to play in a 12 team tournament for like the next 12 best teams, with some really good competition, because you get some really, really damn good football games out of that. I don't see it happening because I don't think the teams and the schools, and I don't think they're going to be happy about that type of idea. So
yeah, unfortunately, I agree with you, but I saw that on the internet the other day, and I thought that was an interesting thought.
Do you want to take a couple minutes, AJ, and just run through the bracket prediction-wise? I won't go into super depth about it, but just I'm curious where you're at with those games.
Yeah, let's start with the sacrificial lamb game. I'm going to take Oregon over JMU. I think JMU may cover this one. I know it's in Eugene, but the way Oregon's been playing, I think James Madison might give them a little hell.
Do we have a spread on it yet?
21.5.
Yeah, it seems about right. Yeah, I don't see Oregon losing this one in Eugene.
No.
So we don't really need to talk too much about that.
Bama, Oklahoma.
Yeah, this one's tough. I favor Oklahoma in this one, just because I feel like Bama's kind of backpedaled their way into the playoff here.
Yeah.
Somehow by tiebreakers they got a spot in the SEC championship game, which I think is the only reason they're in here, and brand name. But
yeah, and I think they'll be a little bit they'll be a little bit warmer, not having that full 2 weeks off. We saw some teams have issue with that. I'm going to take Bama in this one. I do think they go ahead and pull off the 9-8 upset there.
Yeah, I think that one will be closer than it was in Tuscaloosa, but the fact that Oklahoma's playing this in Norman,
it's tough.
I think they're not going to blow out Bama again, but I think they'll win a second time against Bama in a closer matchup.
I will say that is of the first round games, that's the game I kind of have earmarked to be the best, like most competitive, best game.
Well, it's the only one that's likely to be a good game. Well, Miami A&M might be too.
Miami A&M might be, but
that's more of a shit bowl, to be honest.
Tulane, Ole Miss.
I mean, I think Ole Miss wins this one. I actually do think Tulane might make this one a little bit of a nail biter. With the coaching changes at Ole Miss, I know Chambliss has been like, if he played the whole season, probably the Heisman winner. And he's been really good. And Kawan Lacey's incredible running the ball there. Ole Miss will win this, but it's not going to be a blowout like the first time the two teams played.
I would agree. Georgia versus Highway State Patrol.
I think Georgia's moving on.
Miami A&M.
Yeah, I actually hate this, but I have Miami winning in a real close one here. A&M they didn't play anybody all season, and then they played Texas and get embarrassed, and then Miami, after losing a couple bad ones, has kind of had a fire lit under their ass and been playing better. But then again, Carson Beck could go out and throw another fucking 4-interception game like he did in both of their losses, and I don't know who he's going to blame this time. His receivers, the coaches. Maybe he'll blame the refs this time.
He hasn't gone after the refs in a while.
Yeah. Again, I think this is just a shit bowl, but
so
neither
who do you have
stand a chance?
Who do you got, Noah? Who's winning the whole thing?
Well, I think Texas Tech, I think is going to have no problem with Oregon. I think that's going to be a weird one where Oregon's going to, if they blow out JMU, I think Oregon might go into that one favored. And that is absolutely incorrect. So I think Texas Tech clears that. As I talked about earlier, Indiana wins by 2+ touchdowns against Bama or Oklahoma. Ohio State, not going to struggle against Ole Miss or Tulane if the crazy happens. And then I don't think Georgia's going to have any problem whatsoever against Miami or Texas A&M. So I got the top 4 seeds moving on. Like I said, this could easily be a 14 playoff this year. I think Tech's going to give Indiana hell.
Yeah.
I think Tech is going to give Indiana hell. I think Indiana might escape by the skin of their teeth in that one, but I could also see Tech just winning that game. Really tough defense. Indiana hadn't played a really tough defense until Ohio State held them to 13 points. Indiana still won that game. Indiana's maybe got the best defense in the country. I expect a really low-scoring game. Kind of think Tech might come out of that on top, but I am going to pick Indiana. And then I'm going to take Ohio State to win by about 7 to 10 points over Georgia by means of like 23-10 type of score.
Yeah.
And, so I got a rematch. Indiana, Ohio State. Worst case scenario, Ohio State, Texas Tech. I think Ohio State comes out on top, gets the repeat at the end of the day when all the dust settles.
Again, it's hard to beat a team twice. It's hard to beat a team twice when one team's already been there. I'm excited for that rematch, Noah. I pretty much have the bracket working out the same way, except, the Alabama-Oklahoma game, in my opinion, is up in the air. But yeah, I mean, that was a hell of a Big Ten. It's going to be a hell of a natty. Ohio State, Indiana, down in Miami.
And that Big Ten championship game, I mean, I texted you during it and I said, I think we're watching the 2 best defenses in the entire country.
Easily. That was a hell of a game. And I mean, I know Mendoza, is shot up in Heisman.
He's like minus
Heisman race.
Because he was him, Sayin, and Pavia were all in the plus 170 to plus 200 range going into that Big Ten championship game. And then all of a sudden the books flipped it to Mendoza like minus 4,000. So
yeah, and that's what the committee's going to go off of is that head-to-head. I took a flyer on. I want it noted. I took a flyer on Pavia at plus a K.
And believe that the Heisman is in the sandwich in the middle of the playoffs, but before the Natty.
No, it's Saturday.
Oh, it's this Saturday.
Yeah, it's this Saturday.
So, okay. Yeah, I mean, Mendoza's going to get it. If all you need to do is look at the books and see that they placed him at minus 4,000, and that should be enough to tell you that that's what's happening there.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you got anything else on college ball, Noah?
No. I think we beat that drum. I am not surprised at all with how it shook out here with the playoff bracket. I do not agree with it.
Agreed. Hold on. I want to see if I can find a clip. There's one clip I wanted to show you involving college football. Can I find it? No, I cannot. Coach O was on Bussin' with the Boys, and clip came out. They were talking about NIL and everything, and they essentially said, if you wanted to come back and coach today, do you think you could handle NIL? And he told a story, and he essentially said, the only difference in NIL today and what my coaching career was like is the money was coming through the back door. Now you just got to walk through the front door. And I'm like, all right, thank you for confirming all the conspiracy theories of the SEC playing players. We just wanted to go ahead and confirm that one. But
I think that's a big reason why now we have a more level competitive field because, there were... the SEC, pretty much everybody was paying players. Big Ten, you had maybe 2 or 3 schools who were paying players. Pretty obvious to piece together which schools those were. 2 in particular, maybe a third that comes to mind. And then, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC, I think we're a little behind the game with how much or whether or not they were paying players. And then now that it's fully okay, we're seeing the playing field getting leveled a lot more.
Again, with how nice the University of Arizona campus is, as long as you stay on campus, we should win about 7 natties in the next 8 years. So, let's start paying some players.
Tried to give us a 2-year ban for paying DeAndre Ayton allegedly $100,000.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yet now you got multi-million-dollar a year NIL deals going down. So
get off our ass. But anyway, hey, we got Lloyd out of that. So shout out Tommy Lloyd.
That was an upgrade.
That was a big upgrade.
Tommy's got his best team yet.
Oh yeah, he does. Number checks notes. Oh, number 1 in the country, Noah, by the way. Number one in the country. Just want to go ahead and mention that. Where's ASU ranked? Are they on the top 25 list?
I don't think so.
Okay. Okay. I my eyes have been messing with me lately, so I don't know if I just didn't missed it or something. And numbers are hard, so maybe I can count to one though.
Maybe if you look at like the top 75 list, they
might okay. I can't count that high. So anyway, cool, dude. You want to take a quick break and then we'll break down some NFL?
Sure.
Cool. Well, before we do that, just want to say shout out to everybody here on Rumble, over on YouTube and X. Y'all are the best. If you like what we're cooking, please hit those like buttons, hit the follow buttons. Does help us out a lot more than you know. I'm the Brofect One, AJ. That's the Money Train. No, we'll be right back. Ready?
Is there?
3, 2. And we are back. What's up, D-Gens? Brofect One, AJ here with the Money Train Noah, ready to break down what was a good week of NFL football, week 14 action. Before I do that, Noah, I do want to go ahead and talk about the breaking news that came out today. If you had a chance to watch the Colts game this weekend, they lost everybody. They talk about the injury bug hitting them hard. Most notably, Daniel Jones with an Achilles injury. He will be out for the remainder of the season and more than likely missing the start of next. Riley Leonard then came in for service, and what wouldn't you know? He goes ahead and has an injury as well in his knee. And then a season that looks to be ever so promising for the Colts suddenly in shambles. But Noah, when your life is a mess, who do you call to get it back on track, especially if you need him to sling the rock around for a month?
Probably somebody under the age of 40.
Noah, you would be very incorrect. Let's go ahead and call a guy who hasn't played since 2020, who literally retired after the COVID season, is about to qualify to be nominated into the Hall of Fame, has more kids than anyone I've ever known, has a grandkid who's the same age as his youngest toddler. Phillip Rivers is been signed to the Indianapolis Colts practice squad, Noah.
What a guy.
What a guy, dude. What a guy. He said, I don't really care about the Hall of Fame. I can go play more football. Yeah, let me see what the shoulder can do.
So how's that work? Like, right? Because if he appears in any game or is suited up for any game, that's going to delay his Hall of Fame by what, 3 years, 5 years, whatever.
Another 5 years. Yeah. He's got to be retired for another 5 or 6 years or whatever that timeline is. And yeah, it just restarts. And so if he suits up on Sunday and is, on the sideline for whatever reason, whether he's playing because Riley Leonard's unable to go, no official designation has been given on Sunday on him. They're hoping he can go, obviously, but hey, he knows the offense. It's apparently the same offense that he ran as head coach of his son's high school team, and him and Shane have had multiple conversations about the offense, about plays. And so, it's not like he's, coming off the couch not knowing what's going on. He knows what's going on offensively.
No, it's whether or not he can physically perform. I did see interesting. Somebody had, I believe one of the books had posted a line briefly before taking it down with an over-under of 137.5 yards.
Fucking slam that shit.
I gotta say, I think I'd slam the over for a 44. Yeah. Like, right? Because if the Colts get behind, they're gonna have to pass the ball, and if Rivers ends up playing, and I think I got taken down really quickly because it's like, okay, wait, no, sign of the practice
he's on practice squad. Let's hold on.
If he's starting, I would slam an over 137.5. I mean, I figure Rivers has got to be able to at least, even on screen passes, little short passes, be able to throw for 130.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And maybe I'm the sucker in this situation, but if we're hanging an over-under line for just about any quarterback in any given game in the 130s, I'm probably taking the over on just about anybody. I don't care who it is. I'd even take J.J. McCarthy in most games over 137.5.
In most games, absolutely. Yeah, that's a low line for any professional quarterback in the league. Maybe not Kyler Murray, but I mean, hey, why not? Why not? There's you examine the market and figured there's no other quarterbacks that have been on the couch that are worthy enough or can help this Colts team go to a playoff run or anything like that. So, why not?
Yeah, and interesting because clearly they don't trust Brett Rippon enough.
I don't trust Brett Rippon.
Well, I believe just a couple weeks ago was on the Vikings as their emergency third string.
Yeah.
And now apparently has made his way to the Colts, which they probably just, after JJ got back, cut him off their practice squad and the Colts signed him. I don't really follow where Brett Rippon is too frequently.
He was on the Cardinals for a brief period of time
But very interesting. I don't know how that feels if you're Brett Rippon, that it's like, I might not get to start because 44-year-old Phillip Rivers is seen as a better option than I am.
I might be on LinkedIn. I'm not going to lie. I might be on LinkedIn if I'm him tonight.
Well, at least he's on an active roster. In the
NFL.
Absolutely. He's
keep living that dream.
One way or another.
Yeah. That's tough, though. That's tough. Will it help the Colts in the long run? Honestly, I'd love it. I would love nothing more than if Phil Rivers just goes on some edge.
They're gonna lose 6 straight to end the season. They were 8-3.
Don't they have the Texans this weekend?
I think they were what?
No, they got the Seahawks.
Colts were 7-1 to start the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to finish 8-9, and they were 7-1, and then they were 8-3, and now they're going to finish 8-9, and it's just the downfall. I can't believe Daniel Jones is playing with a fractured tibia, whatever the hell it was.
Fractured fibula, and then tore his Achilles
on the other leg. By the way,
yes. Brutal recovery coming for him.
Which doesn't really matter that much, other than the fact that he might not just be on a scooter. He might be in a full-on wheelchair on the sideline, because I imagine he's probably going to have surgery on both.
You get one done and then you get the other typically if you need. Well, if he was playing on the fibula, so I think that's just going to be a rest thing to let that fracture heal. Again, I am no fucking doctor, but from what I know about surgeries and having them myself and everything, because I was like, hey, doc, why don't I just get both knees done? And they said they do that in very rare occasions, because then you got no body part. down there to help you out and help you with the rehab process. And so hopefully, so that's the other unfortunate thing. They might have to wait. Again, not a doctor. This is pure speculation. They might have to wait for that fibula to heal before they can operate on the Achilles, because he was still able to walk around. I mean, I don't know exactly how bad that fibula was, but
it was a hairline fracture, but he was playing on it, so it must have been no risk for like re-injury or farther injury. It was just a pain thing. And they might not even do surgery on that. It might just be a
rest up
if it's just a fracture. But God, I'm like, okay, we might go from Danny Dimes to Indiana Jones to wheelchair Danny.
Colts last four. You got at Seahawks, home against the Niners, home against the Jaguars, at Texans.
Yeah, feels like 4 losses.
Yeah. Good luck, Phil. I'm excited to see him play.
If you're a Jonathan Taylor fantasy owner and he carried you to the playoffs, you're now saying, fuck. Like,
no, keep riding it. Are you kidding me?
Oh, well, Jonathan Taylor's stats are not going to be what they have been this season. I'm not saying they're going to be bad, but like, this is second worst case scenario if you're a Jonathan Taylor fantasy owner. Worst case scenario would be Jonathan Taylor getting injured.
Yeah.
This is the second worst thing that could happen.
All right, this might be the best tweet. Phillip Rivers is back. Patriots have 11 wins. Cowboys are average. Joe Flacco is slinging it. There's drama in Philly. Matthew Stafford is a stud. Seahawks defense is nasty. Aaron Rodgers is the 4 seed. Browns and Raiders are eliminated. Your childhood ain't over yet. Shout out nostalgia. Gotta love it. Anyway, that's the only big thing. You want to get into these games?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's start off, whoopsies, with Cowboys, Lions, Noah. Cowboys taking L to the Lions, 44-30. Jared Goff with a nice stat line, 25 for 34, 309. Touchdown, no interceptions, only taking 1 sack on the night. The run game getting it done with Montgomery and Gibbs. Felt like this was more of a coming to Jesus moment with the Cowboys.
I wouldn't even say that. I mean, this is the same Cowboys we've seen all season, really. They're capable of putting up a lot of points. Their offense was explosive. CD going down in the third quarter, not coming back, might have had a little bit of an impact, but I don't think it really mattered that much. Their defense is ass. It's been ass. And they've been able to win some games, but that's what happens when you have a really, really when you're really, really good on one side of the ball, but really, really bad on the other, is you go around 500.
Yeah.
You typically do. And I've seen too many of these seasons with the Packers where granted they have made the playoffs in a lot of those, but that's where, not making it to the Super Bowl has come in, because when you have a bottom 5 defense with the top 3 or 5 offense, you can win some games, but at the end of the day, this type of shit happens.
Yeah.
When you can't stop shit and you don't force turnovers, you get 44 hung on your head. And the Lions are really good at beating up on bad defenses.
They're really good at it. They love exploiting it.
And they don't show up against good defenses, and I don't think the Lions are doing a goddamn thing this year. If they make the playoffs, they're fighting with the Bears and the Niners right now for those last 2 wild card spots, and the Lions are the team sitting on the outside looking in. Lions might make the playoffs. They might not. They got a tough schedule coming up. They got to play, I think, at the Rams next week. This upcoming week. So that could easily be a loss. That could set them 2 games back from a wild card, which is going to be really tough with 3 games left. They do have a head-to-head with the Bears, so that helps them out a little bit. But, I don't know. I got really high on the Dallas train on this one coming off the Chiefs win. I was like, okay, they're gonna end Detroit's season here. Didn't happen. And then looking back in hindsight, obviously hindsight 2020, I'm like, okay, that makes this 44-30 at Ford Field. That makes sense for a final score for this type of game.
Definitely. Felt like I got a little hoodwinked there. Next game to start off our Sunday, we had Seahawks-Falcons. Seahawks take a dump on the Falcons, 37-9. A great game by Darnold. Great game by the run team. Great game by the defense. Special teams. Yada, yada, yada. Falcons suck ass, Noah.
Yeah, they're bad, and the Seahawks have a really good defense, which is not being talked about enough. Darnold has put up some stinkers this year that have gone untalked about because they've still won some of those games. This Seattle defense is top 5. I would even argue they're top 3 right now.
I can see it.
The Texans, to me, and we'll talk about them later, that's unanimously the number 1 defense for me. I will not entertain any argument that says any other team has a better defense than the Texans. But Seattle's top 5 for sure for me, possibly even top 3. They got a really good defense, and they got an offense that can put up points too. They just don't always. Darnold, to me, is the weak link there.
Exactly.
When it comes playoff time, if teams can get Darnold a little bit frazzled, I think he might lose them. Like, he might be like Tannehill with the Titans a couple of years ago against the Bengals, where he's like the primary reason they lose a playoff game.
Yeah, just shits the bad end. Can't get anything done.
Anyways, Atlanta sucks. They're terrible. Whatever they're trying to do there is not working.
Not at all, no.
And they're going to have another high draft pick this year, and they'll probably waste that as well. And that Kirk Cousins deal was probably about the worst thing they could have done, paying him $40 million a year. Just to, after less than 1 season, be like, okay, yeah, we're putting in Penix. And then Penix didn't look that good. He didn't look ready. And then he gets injured. Now you got Kirk back in there, but nobody's going to trade for Kirk. And I believe they can cut him after this year and save a decent chunk of that money. And Kirk will probably end up being a backup somewhere.
No, he'll end up starting for the Cardinals probably.
But, yeah, Atlanta's just a mess. Like, everything is just awry with the Falcons, and it's not looking good. They're
bad.
They're not a good football team. They might finish worse than the Saints this year, which is crazy.
That would be crazy if they could figure that out. That would be crazy.
I think they're only a game above them right now, or maybe even only a tiebreaker above them.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to, in my opinion, what was the best game of the early slate, and not just because it was a snow game. Seriously, an absolute dogfight to the end. Bengals, Bills. Bengals lose this one 34-39. Bills continue their final season at high mark. It was a pretty typical Bengals game. And I was feeling a little bit better about the Bengals. I thought, okay, maybe Joe Burrow being back really has put that spark back into, this team as a whole. He had it close, and then the fourth quarter happens, and Josh Allen and the team's like, hold on, we need to get some more points on the board. Didn't they? They ran one back. They ran an interception back or something in the fourth, wasn't that? Or am I thinking of a different game?
Yeah, maybe. I think so. I don't know. Bengals were competitive in this one. Had a lead in the fourth quarter. With this one, the Bengals season, I think the book's been shut on that, unfortunately, because I did think they had it in their wheelhouse to make a run here, especially after the way the defense played against Baltimore last week. And then you run into Josh Allen and the Bills in the snow, which Josh Allen and his golden retriever ass was just probably happy as a clam to be playing in the snow. And unfortunately, the Bengals played a good football game.
Yeah.
They just ran into prime Josh Allen in this one, and it was too much to overcome. They don't get it done here. Playoff hopes are not dead, but they're looking really grim. Obviously, Baltimore and Pittsburgh got to play each other one more time. Neither of them have easy schedules coming up, so if the Bengals win out, they could still win this division, theoretically. Bills, I think they're just making sure they get that 5 seed in that top wild card. They probably will. I don't expect anything really big out of the Bills come playoff time, but nothing new there. Bills take care of business in this one. I really thought the Bengals were going to have a chance. They did cover the spread, though. They did cover the spread.
They did cover, yeah.
By half a point. So I'm happy about that.
Well, I'm happy that this spread was covered, Noah, and the money line actually cashed on it too for me. Titans get this one 31-29. I mean, Shedeur had a nice game, 23 for 42, 364 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, only took 2 sacks on the game. Cam Ward, I mean, 14 for 28, 117 yards, and 2 touchdowns and an interception. Hey, a win's a win, brother. I don't give a shit what a stat line looks like. I want to say this is the best game I've seen the Titans play this season, but I think that is like, that's,
but you know that there was one that they played better.
Yeah, I do.
You just don't want to remember it or talk about it.
It took me a second when you brought that up to be like, who did they beat that first? Okay, I'm back now. Yeah, I really have blocked that game completely from memory. Like, completely from memory. It's like the Cardinals haven't played a full season. Anyway, I mean, listen, it was the ship.
Hey, if it makes you feel better, the Cardinals have played the second toughest schedule in the NFL this year, behind the New York Giants.
Which again, can I talk to the schedule makers, please? Because in what world did the Cardinals play last year? Like, we deserved a fucking hard schedule. I'm sorry, but like, anyway, we'll get to the Cardinals in a fucking bit. I got nothing really on this game, Noah. Browns just somehow played worse than the Titans. If anything, I mean, I know Kevin Stefanski has come out and said Shedeur will be the starter the rest of the season, so shutting down any Deshaun Watson comeback. Yeah, see what the kid's got. He put up 364 against a shit team. I mean,
well, and he didn't look bad.
No.
Obviously, the Titans have a bottom 3 defense in the league, but I think Shedeur's earned the right to continue starting at the very least. He's 3 games in now?
Yeah.
3 games in.
2 wins.
He doesn't look half bad. This was his most complete game. This was by far his best game.
And
he doesn't look that bad. He really
doesn't. Not at all.
Bad. I mean,
no, not at all. And I think I said this on last Friday's show. When I was live, Shedeur, like, I have no problem with Shedeur. I want nothing but success for the guy. Like, but he wasn't a great quarterback at Colorado. He was not a first round level talent quarterback at Colorado. And the biggest compliment I think I can pay Shedeur Sanders so far this year in the 3 games that I've seen him in is he does not look like the quarterback he was at Colorado. Like, there's still some glimpses of, some bad habits he had in college and stuff. But, you give me Caleb Williams and Shedeur Sanders, I would say Shedeur Sanders looks like a more mature NFL quarterback than Caleb Williams.
I wouldn't say that at this point. If you're comparing rookie seasons, if you're comparing the first 3 starts between Caleb Williams and Shedeur, I think Shedeur's had a better first 3 starts than Caleb Williams did. I do think Caleb's getting pumped up a little more than he should right now. Mainly because, look at that completion percentage under 60%. That's like, yeah, maybe he's not throwing as many interceptions and not taking as many sacks, but when you're only completing 57% of your passes, like, that's not a great number. But yeah, Shedeur's he's got 3 starts under his belt and he's looked okay. Okay. And I think that's a huge thing. And if you're the Browns, now you got a decision to make because you're going to have probably a top 5 pick. Do you want to use that on a quarterback? I'm thinking at this point, maybe, it's not like your expectations are going to be high or anything like that, right? If you're the Browns, if you're the front office, anything like that. If Shedeur finishes the season the way he's been playing the last couple of weeks, I think you ride with him going into next year. You either trade back, accumulate more draft capital, or you use a top 5-ish pick on a really good receiver, offensive lineman, something to help him out a little bit. And then if he doesn't pan out next year, then the following year you go into the draft and you're going to have another shitty season and you just take a quarterback then, right? Like,
yeah.
I think he's earned the right to finish out the rest of this year and then also be the starter going into next year.
I would agree. It shouldn't be a
competition. I know it's a small sample size, but I do think he's played well enough to continue being the starter.
100%. 100%. Noah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared. I'm scared, dude, because I think 9 is back. I think 9 found it again this week. I think 9 was Vikings beat the Commanders 31-0. Jaden Daniels started the game, ends up getting another injury on that same left elbow. Marcus Mariota steps in and finishes out the game. Commanders just really couldn't get started. Vikings defense was on. JJ McCarthy had a fine game. I don't really take away much from this, Noah, with these two teams.
Yeah, JJ McCarthy was okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was 9, dude. He was 9.
2+ score lead the entire game makes things a lot easier. Takes the pressure off. You just make routine throws. What do you have, like under 200 yards? 3 touchdowns?
Was it 160 or 183? 163. 3 touchdowns.
Yeah,
took 4 sacks.
Yeah, he's still a cornball, and he's still not a guy I ever would want in a clutch situation taking care of business. But they played a 3-win Washington team who somehow struck gold last year, but they fucking suck.
Oh, man, talk about a fucking sophomore slump.
I remember at the beginning of the season, though, they were one of the 2 teams I was like, yep, this is – I was like –
playoff level, like –
I was like 2 playoff teams from last year that are not touching the playoffs this year, and I was like, yeah, Washington. They were in the NFC Championship game last year, but, yeah, they're bad. Has not helped the case at all that Jaden Daniels has been injured more than he's been healthy. Even if he was healthy all year, I think this team would be a game or 2 under 500 still.
Probably.
Yeah, Vikings got their asses fucking whooped by Seattle and turned around and gave that same whooping plus a little extra to Washington. I did have Washington money line in this with Jaden Daniels coming back. That was my terrible pick of the week. Did go 10-4 on the NFL slate, so I don't feel bad about it. But yeah, I mean, the Vikings are okay. They've always been okay. They're not I mean, you inject a actual quality quarterback into this Vikings team, i.e. a guy who deserves to be a starter, i.e. if they had paid fucking Sam Darnold, this team's probably sitting in the playoff race and fighting for the top spot in the NFC North. But I don't have a lot of takeaways from this one. It's like, yeah, Washington's beat down and broken. They're going to maybe finish with the top 5 pick, especially if Jaden Daniels doesn't play the rest of the year. And they'll maybe be dangerous next year.
I could see it. One team that might be continue to be dangerous this year, Noah, a team that we pretty much wrote off at the beginning of the season. Dolphins, Jets. Dolphins come away 34-10 in this one. Remembering who they are. They are the Dolphins, and they will put up a lot of points on shit teams, Noah. That is exactly what this Dolphins team likes to do. Tua went a staggering 13 for 21 for 127 yards and 1 touchdown. Yeah. What a stat line. What a stat line from Tua.
Hey, it turns out when Tua doesn't have to throw the ball a lot, this team's really damn good.
Yeah, hey, you get Waddle, Achane, and Gordon to go ahead and run for some tutties, dude. It's going to be a good day in Miami. But Tyrod Taylor, I forget. Did we really see Brady Cook start this one? Or did Tyrod get injured?
Tyrod started.
Tyrod started, got injured, or just sucked ass. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch this game, but yeah, Tyrod did start. I assume he got injured by the fact that he only played like what looks like 1 series.
Yeah, I had this game on, like the lower third of my laptop. So
this one didn't even make the quad box for me, so I don't know what happened other than Miami.
Groin injury on the first offensive play, and then was pulled later.
Yeah, well, there you go.
There you go. Anything on this game, Noah?
No, the Dolphins 4 straight wins. They're at 6-7. All 4 wins are against bottom 10 teams in the NFL. But A team that you thought was not going to win a game this season, AJ. You said the Dolphins were going to go winless this season. They're going to be that bad. They're sitting at 6-7.
I didn't know Tyreek Hill was getting injured. If I would have known Tyreek Hill was going to get injured, I would have not done this. But clearly there's some cancer in that locker room.
So you think they benefited from Tyreek Hill being injured?
100%.
Okay.
100%. You get that. You get like, dude. I hate to say this because I respect the hell out of Tyreek as a player, but bro's toxic. I mean, like, doesn't seem like a good locker room guy.
Either way, Dolphins won 4 straight. Doesn't matter that they were all against bottom 10 teams in the league. They still won 4 straight. They're sitting at 6-7. They're not making the playoffs, but they are tied with the Chiefs. So that's, something that the Dolphins can say that they did. I guess. Yeah. Jets are terrible.
Jets are bad.
Jets
are real bad.
Jets have been bad. They still are bad. They will continue to be bad. That's just what it is.
What do you think happens first, Noah? A major Minnesota sports team wins a championship, or the New York Jets have a franchise quarterback?
Well, the Jets are going to keep trying. Yeah, the Jets will keep trying, and so Minnesota sports are going to keep trying to win too. So that's I don't see either happening in the foreseeable future. Although the Wild are playing really well right now, they're playing really good hockey. So, Twins, I think, off the table. Off the table.
Yeah.
Timberwolves probably also off the table.
They just lost to the Suns last night. Yeah, I'd put them off the table.
Yeah, at
least the Suns without Devin Booker.
At least Minnesota sports. You got the Wild who will make the playoffs and probably be a first or second round exit. Lucky if they're a second round exit. I don't know. Man.
Yeah,
you're putting me in a tough spot there, choosing between the two. The Jets are going to continue drafting quarterbacks, which actually they haven't done in a few years.
Yeah, it's about that time.
I'll tell you what, though, if they draft Sawyer Robertson, who I think is going to fly so far under the fucking radar after, Baylor not having a great season. And I still think Sawyer Robertson's going to be the best NFL quarterback out of this draft. And he's going to be a late first, early second round pick. Maybe might even slide to the mid, late, maybe even early third round. Some team's going to get an absolute fucking steal with Sawyer Robertson at quarterback. I mean, that dude can sling it. And I know things didn't work out super well at Baylor this year. They barely were bowl eligible and then opted out. But, he was like, I think the Heisman favorite coming into this season. And I think his draft stock is going to be impacted by how Baylor played this season. And he threw like 15 interceptions, which is not great, but I think he had more yards and more touchdowns than anybody else other than maybe Mestamaker at North Texas. So
true chains.
See what happens. But the Jets won't do that. They'll probably draft Diego Pavia and
that's what I was thinking first, but I don't know. They seem more like a Julian Sand.
Well, he's only a freshman, so.
Oh, he is only a freshman. Never mind.
Yeah, maybe football, you ain't got one and done.
You're right.
Somebody's going to draft Pavia in the first round, and I love Diego Pavia. Don't get me wrong. Like we both love Diego Pavia. I just feel like it's going to be a Manziel 2.0 type of situation where he's going to have this great college career, and then he's going to go to the NFL, and he's just going to dude's like 5'7", maybe 5'8". Like,
yeah, you know who's
he can run the ball, but he's going to shit the bed in the NFL.
You know who's drafting him, right? That would be none other than your Arizona Cardinals. Yeah, I can already see it. And with the 5th overall pick, the Arizona Cardinals have traded up to draft Heisman finalist Diego Pavia, Vanderbilt.
Yeah, there's a reason he was a 0-star recruit and had to go to JUCO in New Mexico before he went to New Mexico, and then now Vandy.
Anyway,
hell of a great player. I just, I don't think drafting quarterbacks below 5'10" in the NFL generally works out very well.
Well, damn it, the Cardinals are going to continue to try to prove you wrong, Noah. Next game on the slate, we've got I think it was the most interesting of the upsets this weekend. And one, I mean, hey, shout out to the Saints for covering. 24-20. Saints take it to the Bucks here. Not a great game for Baker, 14 for 30, 122 yards, touchdown and an interception for him. Tyler Shuck getting out of this 13 for 20, 144 with one interception. But again, why do you need to throw touchdowns when you can run the ball in for touchdowns? No, as Tyler Shuck goes in 4-2, Devin Neal with one as well. The Buccaneers are just sliding, bro. Yeah, this is another bad game that we've seen them have, and another bad loss that they've had with a relatively healthy team. I mean,
they're on the struggle bus for real.
Yeah. And I know, and like, again, I want to give flowers where flowers are due. The Saints have been scrappy all season. The Saints have been a very competitive team all season. They haven't been playing like a 3-10 team. They've been playing like a team who's still competing to get into the playoffs. And so respect to them and not taking their foot off the gas. Tyler Shuck coming in. I don't know if he is the guy, but he is their guy right now. And he's doing enough to.
He's better than Rattler. So it's not like he's really got a ton of competition chomping at his heels.
True. Also true. Wild stuff with Rattler. But just a overall bad game, all phases of the game for the Buccaneers. And I mean, hey, the Saints are scrappy.
Yeah, well, and their defense has been playing a lot better too. And it makes you wonder, because I don't think Shuck or obviously Spencer Rattler are the answer. You get a quarterback in here, you still got Olave, you add another receiver or two. Juwan Jennings is a good tight end. They got a guy, I think, in Devin Neal, who had a tremendous career at Kansas. Finally gets his first nod to start here because of some injuries and has a really nice game. And on the flip side of it, what the fuck happened to Emeka Egbuka after about week 5?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Not only was he the best rookie receiver, but he was like a top 5 receiver in the league through like 5-6 weeks. And he's fallen off of a cliff, and they've continued to have injuries with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Sterling Shepard, some of the other guys there in the receiver room. So it's been thin, but Egbuka just massively slowed down production-wise. And I don't know what the reasoning is for that. That's clearly affected Tampa Bay, and they went from the first 5-6 weeks of the season of this scrappy team that plays in close games but gets the win to a team that's struggling to compete against not great competition.
Yeah.
And at this point, I think my hottest take of the season feels really alive right now that the Carolina Panthers are going to win the NFC South. And we'll have to clip that, run it back once that happens. If it happens, they got two games out of the last 4 games of the season. Bucks and Panthers have to play each other head to head. Obviously, if one of those two teams wins both, they're winning the division. If they split, it's up in the air. But Bucks are they're struggling. They're struggling big time. They lose to the Saints, who are scrappy, can win games. That was my team that I picked to win 0 games this season. They're up to 3 now. I mean, Shuck doesn't look terrible. He doesn't look terrible, but I also don't think he's the long-term answer.
Doesn't appear to be.
And the Bucks have a lot to look in the mirror and figure out.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. And I mean, some of it might just be Baker Mayfield being more injured than actually being let on, but we'll see about that.
Well, yeah, and
that's my biggest worry with the way, especially
decimated wide receiver room. Bucky Irving's been out a lot of the year, but he was back, but that didn't seem to really make any difference in this one. Defense is not really playing up to snuff, and the Saints defense, again, like I said, doesn't look horrible.
No, not at all. Next game, we talked about the Colts a lot, so we'll focus a little bit on the Jaguars. Jaguars take this one 36-19. Trevor Lawrence, 17 for 30, 244, 2 touchdowns, kept it a clean sheet besides that. Daniel Jones, the injury. Riley Leonard stepped in, 145, 18 for 29, 1 interception on the game. The Colts have been sliding for a little bit now. We've been seeing them, I would say, get exposed more and more each week. Now, it seems like their two quarterbacks go down, bringing in Phillip Rivers. That's all fine and dandy. The Jacksonville Jaguars down there in Duval County have quietly been putting together a hell of a season, bro. 9-4 on the year. And since the start of this show, Noah, I have been very big on the Trevor Lawrence train. I said when he first came into the league, give him 4 years. Give him 4 years. Let him get to this first contract. And I think Trevor Lawrence will start to be that quarterback that everyone has promised him. And I got off that bandwagon, Noah, but that's because I forgot how good of a fucking coach Liam Cohen is. And the scheme that he has offensively, that worked for the Buccaneers last year seems to be working for the Jaguars this year and really is fitting Trevor Lawrence's play style. And I think that's why we're seeing an increase in how well he's playing. Great weapons all around. I'm really getting high on this Jacksonville Jaguars team. Would like to see a little bit more from defense, but the defense has been playing solid, so I can't really complain too much there. They might fuck around and find out in the AFC, Noah.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, they might win the AFC South, maybe. I still think the Texans are taking that division.
More than likely, but still.
Jaguars
aren't a wild card.
Jaguars aren't hanging around with the playoff game. It doesn't even matter. Liam Cohen, though, gets talked about as one of these quarterback whisperers. I'm saying, maybe let's look at his offensive scheme for how he's unlocking the goddamn running backs.
Yeah.
Because when he was at Tampa Bay, you had Rashad White, who's just a top 10 back in the league, and then all of a sudden you bring in Bucky Irving, and halfway through the season, Rashad White's not getting too many carries anymore. ETN was a name who was talking about being on the trade block coming into this season because, he hasn't really been producing. ETN's had a career year. Way more than Trevor Lawrence has. Now, I know the wide receiver room has been a very damaged and not performing there with Jacksonville, but ETN's been that one solid focal point. I'm curious to see, though, right? They started the season really, really good through 5 games. Had a terrible 4-game stretch. And then got hot again. Are they going to stay hot, or are they going to fall back into another bad stretch here to end the season?
Ooh, and just be a super streaky team. I could see that. I could see that.
But they're also a team that when they win, it's not usually obviously this one was a big statement win, but when they have been winning, it's close games. It's not they're not putting people away. They don't instill any confidence in me to be a team that's going to make a deep playoff run. They'll probably be in the playoffs. I just feel like they're going to be a first-round loss.
Fair enough. Next game on the slate. No, I'm ready to put a stake in them and call them done. Steelers, Ravens. Steelers take this one 27-22. Put a fork in them. They're done. Call it a season. The Ravens are done. I'm done with them. This defense is awful. The offense is not running well. At least finally they gave Derrick Henry some carries. He gets 25 carries for 94 yards. Keaton Mitchell had a good game. Lamar ran fine, but the defense is bad. They can't get it done on offense. They come away with more field goals than anything. They need to just change everything because it's not working anymore. I don't know if that means Harbaugh going. I don't know if that means changing up the quarterback room, but it's just not, it doesn't feel like a good scene there in Baltimore right now. And Grayson, let me tell you, Grayson is pissed. And he loves the Ravens. He is pissed, dude.
Yeah, I'm not going to put a fork in the Ravens because it's completely up in the air still. There's one game separating these two teams. Pittsburgh, obviously, with the head-to-head win, but if Baltimore evens it up, Pittsburgh still does have that tiebreaker over them as of now. Steelers do have the easier path to end the season. Dolphins at home, at Lions, which they will probably lose, at Browns, which could be a loss for them. The way the Dolphins have been playing, too, I wouldn't be shocked to see the Dolphins beat them. And then they play the Ravens at home to end the season. Ravens have at Bengals, home against Patriots, at Packers, at Steelers. Ravens are going to need that head-to-head win, plus one more win in the win column than the Steelers have. It does feel like we're going to see an 8-9, 9-8 Steelers team in the playoffs here,
which is Tomlin's wet dream.
But if the Steelers go 8-9, I think the Ravens can edge them out at 9-8, and so there's a lot up in the air here still. If the Bengals had beat the Bills, I'd almost be looking at the Bengals to fucking win this division. However, unable to take care of that. They're not mathematically eliminated, but they need the Steelers and Ravens both to lose a lot of games. I'm not putting a fork in the Ravens because until it's all said and done, and those two teams playing each other in the last game of the season here, I would not be shocked to see this division coming down to a Week 18 matchup between the Ravens and the Steelers. Because if the Steelers, like I said, in the next 3 games, if they lose one more than the Ravens do, so if they go 1-2 and the Ravens go 2-1, which I think is totally feasible given their schedules. Granted, that does mean the Steelers have to lose either at home to the Dolphins or at the Browns, which could fucking happen.
Yeah.
Either of those. Now, the Ravens do have, like I said, at Bengals, at Packers, not fun games to play if you're the Ravens. But if the Ravens are still hanging around going into Week 18, that game could very well, and it just feels like that's what's going to culminate here with the season is the Ravens-Steelers winner gets that 4 seed, gets a home playoff game, and the loser's out of the playoffs.
Wild stuff out of the AFC North. Wild stuff. Let's keep it moving, Noah. Broncos, Raiders. Broncos win a close one, 24-17. Shout out to Pete Carroll calling a field goal. Huh.
Did you say Broncos win a close one?
Yeah.
Oh, I've only heard that 11 times this year.
I know. I just want to make sure you heard it again. But the Broncos do win a close one, 24-17. Shout out to Pete Carroll kicking that field goal for no other reason than to cover the spread. I really appreciate there, Pete. And
then Dave Portnoy coming out and saying Pete Carroll deserves to be executed, which I'm sorry, Dave. I thought you were a passive person who was tolerant of other people, but apparently execution is what Pete Carroll deserved after kicking a field goal here.
And here's my thing, dude. And I don't know what it is, but like I've lost some bad beats. Like I've had plenty of bad beats.
Have you ever called for a head coach to be executed though because you lost?
No, I've never yelled at a player. I've never taken to Twitter to rip them and their family or any like. I guess I just can never I can never get there. I can never get there to where dude, it's gambling. If you go horse racing, you're gonna call for the horse to be turned into glue tomorrow because it lost you a race? You know what I mean? I can probably get more behind, but but you know what I mean? I don't know. I don't get it. I feel like as a gambler, especially, you come into this knowing okay, first of all, it's rigged against me. I'm playing with casinos. And then again, it's a team sport. And yeah, I've never gotten that. And I don't think I ever will, but.
Also, the decision makes sense. If you're down 10,
yes,
you need an onside kick regardless.
Yes,
you save more. You save more time by kicking the field goal than you do by trying to get a touchdown, then an onside kick, and then a field goal. So it's just funny to me because it actually, if I'm a head coach at whatever level of football, if I'm down 10. And score with less than a minute left, and need 2 scores with less than a minute left, I'm kicking the field goal and then going for the onside kick because the onside kick's the hard part, the field goal's the easy part, the touchdown's the medium part. I don't know why you burn a bunch of extra time going for the touchdown, and maybe not even getting that and losing by 10. You might as well kick the field goal, go for the onside kick, and then worst case scenario, you can attempt a Hail Mary.
Yep,
it makes perfect sense.
I agree.
Portnoy's just a whiny little bitch, and even though he didn't say he had money on that, he definitely had money on the Broncos to cover that spread.
Definitely.
And he's the idiot for that because I had Raiders plus 7.5.
I
had Raiders plus 7.5. We're celebrating all day for that.
Oh, it was a great day for us. And I will say the funny thing about this game, though, Noah, because watching this game, I really thought this was going to be the first week, I turn into sports radio, turn into sports talk, and maybe the Broncos aren't all it's cracked up to be. Maybe they do have some issues we're not talking about. Maybe Bo Nix isn't the guy. But no, it was business as usual. It was more like, oh, well, the Raiders just had a really good game this week, and the Broncos weren't completely ready for that. But the Broncos, and it's
I have full faith in the AFC 1 seed, who has won every game by about an average of 2.5 points, because that makes sense.
Yeah, and I mean, if it was an SEC team, fine, you have an agenda that way, but I don't get it.
Oh, they'll get waxed by the Packers this week.
I can't wait.
In Denver, by the way, Bo Nix is going to be sacked about 9 times. Michael Parsons maybe about 4 of those, and we're going to see Bo Nix revert to Bo Picks, I think.
Yes. Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. Micah Parsons in his face. Whew.
And maybe he won't throw picks, and it'll just be Bo sacks because he's been sacked 11 times in a game.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I'll just say my. You want to I'll say my. Let me just say my quick piece, and then I'll let you go. Okay. Rivalry older than time, a hatred deeper than most rivalries. And yet, however much some things change, they continue to stay the same as the Bears go into Lambeau Field and lose 21-28. Here's all I have on this game, Noah. First off, the Ben Johnson era is a good era to live in, because this is any other year at Lambeau in the middle of the season, where the Packers are still playing for a lot, et cetera, et cetera. This is not a touchdown game. This is a put multiple touchdowns on the Bears and have a nice day in Lambeau type of day. But not under Ben Johnson, damn it. Not under Ben Johnson. Gets this team going, fights back in the second half, makes it a touchdown game. Caleb Williams, clearly not the answer. I will stand on this soapbox until my vocal cords go out. Caleb Williams isn't the answer. I think Ben Johnson is the answer. And the issue the Bears, I think, are going to run into is, well, do we fire the head coach or the quarterback? And we always run into that issue. Let's go ahead and, figure something else out at quarterback. I don't know if Caleb Williams will work out in the long run. Packers are really good. Packers still in the Bears. Josh Jacobs look really good. Welcome back, Jaden Reed. Christian Watson, that guy is really fucking good.
I think the Packers might have a wide receiver 1, and I was not expecting it to be Christian Watson, who I have for a couple of years now said is a glorified Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah, that was I think he has broken that mold, Noah. I got to step away for a second. You want to talk Packers?
Yeah, and Watson has developed himself into being more than just a deep threat.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool to see. I didn't think Caleb Williams played that bad. I thought Ben Johnson made a really good halftime adjustment. Absolutely dominated time of possession. Just ran the ball efficiently. Packers having 3 possessions in the entire second half kept the Bears in this one, brought them back into it, gave them a chance to win or tie. Packers do score 2 touchdowns in their 3 possessions in the second half. But, the Bears are a legit-ish team, I will say. As much as I want to come out here and just shit on them for sucking, I mean, the Bears do still suck. They lose the game. Caleb Williams throws it away. I don't think he could have ran it there on 4th down. That was my initial thought. And then watching the replay, I think he would have gotten smothered about a half a yard short, maybe a full yard. But, Packers defensive line, crazy good. Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate Micah Parsons so much. Who, by the way, got held on just about every damn play. I mean, the amount of chokeholds Micah Parsons was in was crazy work. No flags getting thrown on that.
Yeah, that was
bad. Somebody ran the stats all season. Guess how many holding calls Micah Parsons has had called against him all season?
Probably like 3 or 5.
1. And he was very clearly held on at least 5 or 6 plays during just this game alone. Somehow the refs are just swallowing their whistle when it's Micah Parsons. And somebody also put together a compilation of all the little screen grabs, pictures of offensive linemen with their whole arm hooked around his neck. And it's been at least 2 dozen times this season. Micah Parsons has only drawn 1 holding call. Make that make sense. I don't know. But yeah, I thought the Bears had a really good adjustment at second half. And they ran the ball. I don't know if you heard that part, AJ. They ran the ball super well. Absolutely limited time of possession for the Packers. Unfortunately for them, their defense was still allowed 2 touchdowns on 3 possessions. But, I mean, that's a great way if you're the Bears to keep it close is limit that possession time. And they had 2 really, really long touchdown drives that ate a shit ton of clock. And, yeah, the Bears might be a legitimately decent team, I think.
They might be, but we'll have to wait till next year. Oh, God, Lee. Are you ready for the next one?
Yeah, I mean, just rip off the Band-Aid. It's easy.
Rams are really good at football. 45-17. Shout out to Joe. I told Joe I took Rams minus the 9.5, and Joe said, "Dude, I really hope the Cardinals prove you wrong." And then the Cardinals scored that first touchdown, and he said, "See." And I said, "I've been here before. I've seen this before." And then the rest of the game played out the way it did. I'm just going to go ahead and say what I've been saying the last 5-6 weeks. Fire Gannon, fire Monty, fire everyone in the front office, fire the scouts, fire everybody who's made a decision for the Arizona Cardinals this season.
But keep Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, keep Jacoby. I'm good with Jacoby.
Right, like draft a rookie, but keep Brissett on and let Brissett start 6 to 8 weeks before you throw your rookie quarterback in.
And I know there are so many Cardinals fans out there that are like, literally, we'd be more competitive with Kyler. Like, no, the fuck we wouldn't. No, we'd be just as bad, if not worse, if Kyler Murray was out there right now.
Literally look at the numbers, and you guys have been more competitive with Jacoby Brissett than Kyler.
No, exactly. But there's so many Kyler Murray stands out there, and they're like, oh, they just didn't give K1 the opportunity. K1's, and it's like, golly, I can't tell if these are all Kyler Murray burners or if so many people are just dick riding him for no reason.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: you could pay Jacoby Brissett $4.5 million a year, or you could pay Kyler Murray $45 million a year, and
yeah. McCormick, I agree with you. Rams are probably
the guy you're paying 10% of the money.
Yeah, I'll take the 10%. Yeah, Rams probably winning the Super Bowl this year as long as they can stay healthy. But that's all I have on that game, Noah.
Yeah, I don't know if the Rams will win the Super Bowl, but Stafford seems to be well on his way to a league MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stafford's having unreal numbers. Kyron Williams and Blake Corum both just torching their way through the Cardinals defense in this one. Rams look really good, except for when they, sometimes don't, which is every now and then. This year's been a weird year in the NFL across the board. I don't really know who's going to be in the Super Bowl. I don't know who's going to win the Super Bowl. I have no real inkling of either, because every team that looks good for a period of time, every time this year has had a just, shit the bed type of game.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's not one single team that looks dominant other than the Patriots, who have had the second easiest strength of schedule in the entire league this year.
Yeah, NFL's been interesting this year. Let's go to Sunday Night Football, Noah. I think we can put a fork in this team. Texans, Chiefs. Texans take it to the Chiefs 20-10 here. Mahomes 14 for 33, 160 with 3 interceptions.
Yep. That's what happens when you play the Texans defense. And Call me crazy, but the Texans might be my favorite to win the Super Bowl at this point. And they might not even win their own damn division.
I like them to win the AFC. I don't know if I would go as far to say Super Bowl yet.
Man, but you look at
I like them to win the AFC.
You look at the last 4 weeks for this Houston Texans team. You look at the fact that this team's only given up 260 yards a game, giving up less than 16 points a game.
Yeah, that's scary.
When they were struggling and losing games, the defense was still there. The offense was just flat. Offense is starting to figure it out a little bit. They're still not
healthy again too
by any means, but you know what? The old adage, right? Defense wins championships, and Texans defense, I think, is head and shoulders above any other defense in the NFL right now. And it's hard. It's hard to score 20. It's incredibly hard to score 20 points on this Texans team.
Yeah,
it is incredibly hard to score 20 points. Now, could you get away with a 16-13 win over the Texans in the playoffs? Yes, that's viable. You're not dropping 30 points on this team. Like, no, there's no team in the league that's offense is good enough to drop 30 points on this Texans defense. Will Anderson, who I said when he got drafted, that was the best pick in the draft. That was the best pick in the last, 3-4 drafts at number 3 overall. I was like, Will Anderson is going to be a massive game wrecker. And he wasn't necessarily last year, but in year 2 in the league, he's proven it. He is fucking proven it. Will Anderson is a beast. And this Texans defense is just crazy. Alshire is, regardless of what you want to say about him being a dirty player, he's a fucking force to be reckoned with. Gets game-sealing interception in this one. Yeah, this Texans defense is absolutely fucking legit, and I would not be surprised to see them make a deep playoff run, whether it's out of a wild card spot or a, AFC South winner spot. Best case scenario, they probably get the 3 seed in the playoffs. Worst case scenario, they're sitting at a 6 or a 7 seed, but I don't think that's a team anybody wants to play.
No,
because
not at all.
That defense just puts your offense in chokehold.
It does, and they're great at just stopping any momentum you have. They're great at making you make mistakes. It's a good defense. No, I'm not going to argue with you there. It's a very good defense.
They made Travis Kelce look like a blind kid.
Yeah.
I know he's past his prime, but they made Travis Kelce look like a blind kid. He had how many drops? He had how many passes just ripped out of his hands? They swarm, they hit, they're all over everything, and they're young too. So it's a tough ass defense to play. Now their downfall might be their offense.
True.
You bait CJ Stroud into a pick or two, you might have a chance at beating them. But
you could.
Somehow the Texans look like the best team in the AFC right now, and they're sitting as a fringe wild card team.
Wild. The NFL's been wild this year. Let's get to Monday Night Football, Noah. Eagles, Chargers. Chargers take this one in overtime, 22-19. Shout out to Jalen Hurts. The first time I've ever seen a quarterback throw a interception, recover a fumble, and then fumble the ball.
It's actually the first time in NFL history that a player has turned the ball over twice in one single play.
Well, see, Jalen Hurts just full of first, dude. He's what a quarterback. What a quarterback.
Pretty impressive.
What do I want to say? Here's what I want to say. Here's how I want to say it. The Chargers looked like the better team in this game to me. The Chargers looked like the better team. However, I think this is the best I've seen Philly's offense play in a long time.
Sans Jalen Hurts.
Huh?
I said sans Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. He had 21 for 42, 4 interceptions.
0.4 fantasy points if you had him. That probably was not good if you were potentially in the first round of your playoffs. If you're in a league where your playoffs didn't start yet and you're in playoff position, you're probably thanking your lucky stars.
Wild.
But if your playoffs started, that was definitely a first round exit for you.
No, but again, minus Jalen Hurts, the scheme looked like it was working better. AJ Brown, Goddard was killer last night. Saquon was running the ball like he used to, or how they used to let him run the football. Like everything seemed to be working minus Jalen Hurts. And that ended up being, I think, the downfall for the Eagles. The Chargers played consistent football. Yeah, Justin Herbert turns the ball over one time, but still very good, very classic. Welcome back, Amari and Hampton. Him and Vidal are going to be a nice two-headed giant back there for the Chargers the rest of the season. The defense showed up as well. I like this Chargers squad, Noah. They really earned this victory this week.
Yeah, this was the sloppiest football game that I have watched in recent memory. Like, I can't remember the last time I've seen a game this fucking sloppy, just messy all over the fucking place. We saw 3 turnovers on one single play. We saw an interception that was immediately followed by the very next play with Herbert fumbling a snap and giving it back.
Yeah.
NFL record for combined turnovers in a game is 12. It's happened 3 times. There was only 8 in this, but it was enough that I had to Google what the record was for most combined turnovers in a game, because early on in the fourth quarter, I was like, this has got to be approaching that. Like, these defenses weren't making like 3-and-out stops. They were making, you're just going to give the ball back to us so we can give it back to you. And it was messy. Hurts, like I said, 0.4 fantasy points, 4 interceptions, a lost fumble, had a negative 4 points on one single play. Yeah, this was a messy, messy fucking game. And I think that's the epitome of what we've been seeing from the Eagles the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And I know we've talked about, as the season's gone on, like, when is it going to click? When is it going to click? When is it going to click? Because the last 2 years, the Eagles haven't gotten off to the hottest starts. They got off to a hot start this year and then kind of fell off. And at this point, I don't know that it's going to click for them.
It doesn't feel like it.
I don't know that it is. And they just don't feel like a threat right now. They don't feel like a threat to the NFC. It really feels like you've got Seattle, LA, Green Bay, maybe Chicago can do something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of it. That's right. Like, I mean,
yeah,
the NFC,
I can't think of anything else really.
Every week, the landscape has been changing a shit ton in both the NFC and maybe even the AFC a little bit, but in the NFC especially. And right now, it feels like you got the Rams, the Seahawks, the Packers, and maybe the Bears are a fourth player there.
God, maybe.
Which is crazy to think about. Like, that's what we're looking at right now. And that could all change. There's 4 weeks left in the regular season, but if nothing clicks here for the Eagles, I don't even like them to win a playoff game at this point. And they are sitting in a position where they should win the NFC East, which is starting to feel a lot more like the NFC least instead of the NFC East. You got the Cowboys now sitting a game under 500. You got the Commanders who suck, the Giants who suck. And now the Eagles have lost, 3 out of 4, and they don't look that good. They don't look that good.
No, they do not. No, I've lost all faith in them. I do not have any expectations or high expectations for the Eagles if they do end up making the playoffs. I think, do I want to play them? No, because they can grind out a win if they really need to. But
if they decide to just give the ball to Saquon 28 times a game, then they'll be fine. Like that, I don't know why that was the recipe that worked last year, and then they came into this season and they're like, we'll give him the ball 15 times a game. Yeah. And we're going to let Jalen Hurts air the ball out because that's worked out really well in the past.
That's always worked out well for us.
It's worked out well when they've established the run where you're stacking a 7-8 man box, and then Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown are both in single coverage. When you're not handing the ball off and not establishing the run, and then your pass game isn't opened up, and then Jalen Hurts just makes careless decisions and throws a bunch of picks, bad things happen. Things happen, and I don't. Knowing Philly, it's going to be really, really interesting because Sirianni could, if they have a first-round playoff exit, if they win the division, host a playoff game, and then lose to say the Bears or the Seahawks or if the Seahawks do win the division, the Rams.
Yeah.
Or if the Lions make the playoffs, that Sirianni could be on a really, really hot seat going into the offseason. And we saw it with Doug Peterson. So Philly's one of those special places where it doesn't matter that you just won the Super Bowl last year. You could be on the hot-ass seat going into next season.
You very well could be. And it looks like, and knowing Eagles head coaches, he probably is. But Noah, that's all the games. That's all I have in the NFL. You got anything else before we call it a night?
No. Shout out to the teams on bye week this week. I think what happened with the schedule this week, just about every team on bye week benefited.
Oh, yeah.
Panthers fans are happy. Patriots fans are happy. I'm missing 2 other teams that were on bye week. I don't remember who was, but
that would be the Niners and the Giants.
Oh, yeah. Well, Giants fans maybe not happy, but Niners fans, Patriots fans, Panthers fans, all happy with what happened this week. And they were just sitting on their couches at the bye week, not worrying about their team. So this was probably the biggest bye week, even though there were only 4 teams on there. 3 out of 4 of the fan base has got to feel really happy about what happened when they weren't even fucking playing.
Oh, yeah. They've got to. But, hey, that's all we got tonight. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Shout out to everyone here on Rumble, over on YouTube X. Y'all are the best. If you like what we're cooking, please hit those like buttons, hit the follow buttons. Does help out a lot more than you know. But with all that being said, I'm the Brofect one, AJ. That's the Money Train, Noah, and we'll see you next time on Degenerate Takes.